center coming to Morris, that's not gonna happen, or is it gonna happen?
I'll comment on that now. As far as I know, the Learning Center is very excited to come to boards. I talked to Ginny Bassleer the other day, and she's saying that what she's waiting for is an invitation. And as far as I know, it went to the church council and to Father Sarant, and basically, until they hear back that, you know, yes, there is a place for them to go to, they're on a hold. Right now, it's kind of crucial because she said that she needs to hear within a couple of weeks, because if she doesn't, they won't be able to organize a program for the summer.
So I've heard gossip that the church does not want it there, so that's not true, or?
I don't know, that I don't
This
know.
gossip?
All I know is that it was presented to the church council. I can only deal with Jamie, I don't deal with the church council or anything like that. I haven't heard either way, and she said she would notify me as soon as she found out. So I don't know what the process like that. I understand there was an article, I didn't see that. My mailman could go through water, but outside, you know, I know that they're just still waiting to hear from the council. So as soon as they hear, because the funds are there, you're right, the funds are there, there's $95,000. And it calculated $2,600 per student, so we would be able to have quite a few, almost as many at this end of our district as we do in Rouse's
But
Point.
there have to be a building available.
Yeah, that's it, that's what they're looking for, the building.
It has to be more.
Well, that's what we want to have, we want to have one in each end of the district. Or if there's any building that's available that somebody knows and they want to, you know, that's a possibility too, but I understand that there's one or more sports that they were looking at too, but I'm not.
Candlelight?
Pardon?
Candlelight?
No, it's also Father Sarant's.
Oh, another part of the church.
Yes, it was another Catholic school at one time. It was a public school, excuse me. It was a public school, but I don't know if the handicap accessibility is there or whatever. It's right behind you. In Morris Court.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we'll get on with the regular agenda. Is there a motion to accept the previous minutes from the special meeting of April 17th that was in our board packet? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to accept the following treasurer's reports for March of 07, the multi-fund, district-wide 22.4, the tax 30-year hourly, unemployment, lunch fund, middle school emergency fuel oil tank, middle school boiler project phase 3, senior high boiler project, and the Rouse's Point mildew project. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend approving the Committee on Preschool Special Education recommendations from their meeting of April 19th?
So,
Discussion?
I know at this time, and there were 3 meetings, and I'm asking you to accept recommendations of the committee.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend approving the Committee on Special Ed recommendations from their meetings held on April 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 17th, 18th, 23, 24, and 26?
So moved.
Discussion?
I met with Kim, and there were 73 CSE meetings. These are basically annual reviews for its programs for next year. Most of them are budgeted. There are a couple of costs totaling $3,600, but the savings were $90,709. So we're ending up with a savings from these meetings of $87,109 due to children not returning or changes in service.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend approving the probationary appointment of Jody Marvin for a period of 3 years effective July 1st, 2007, and the certification tenure area school counselor, and a salary of $46,640 for the 11-month position?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Opposed?
Karen was on the committee, right, Carol Holmes, Tom Brandell,
those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend Alfred Hamill be granted tenure as an English teacher effective September 1st, 2007?
So moved.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend Jessica Ellenthorpe be granted tenure as an English teacher effective September 1st, 2007?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
It's Jessica
Change your,
Merman.
I'll look up to you.
It's her maiden name. Merman is her name.
Same person.
Same person, yeah.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend Joseph DeSorbo be granted tenure as an earth science teacher effective September 1st, 2007? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend approving the leave of absence submitted by Nicole O'Connell for the remainder of the 06-07 school year without pay or benefits?
So moved.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend accepting the letter of retirement received from Rudy Miller effective June 30th, 2008? This notice entitles Mr. Miller to the $1,000 stipend. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to recommend approving Nellie Rivard's change in retirement date from June 30th to June 4th, June 1st being her last day.
So moved.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend approving the request from Brent Banker to operate a not-for-profit volleyball program from June 25 to June 29? The Champlain Youth Commission will sponsor the program.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend the approval of approximately a one-week leave of absence for Ann Sterling, school bus driver without pay, from June 18th to June 22nd? There are additional snow days that leave is requested for the end of the school year.
So moved.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend approving the creation and posting of 2 home instruction teachers for 2 particular students?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend approving the following resolution, noting that the following infractions as noted on the fire report related to the facilities are included in the capital project and will be corrected by September 2008. 17H2, 17LT, 05C2, and 17F3.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I would like to, basically, we had our fire inspection, our re-inspection, and everything was taken care of except for the basic items, and since they are included in the capital project, rather than incur the cost of doing them right now, I talked to David Clapp at the state ad, and basically what he said is, if the board passes this resolution, that I can send him this resolution, and that would be satisfactory so that we can get our certificate of occupancy. So, with this motion, then we will be able to forego these until the capital project. I recommend we do.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend the following resolution be it resolved that the board authorizes the superintendent and the director of special education to work with the district attorney in filing an action in a court of competent jurisdiction to compel the Commissioner of Education and the New York State Education Department to approve the educational placement and take other actions required by law.
So moved.
Discussion?
This is the situation that we know that we are dealing with in another state where our state will not recognize their school district due to fire codes. And our attorney has advised us to proceed with this because she feels that we're entitled to payments since it had a pendency. And the state is not recognizing that tendency, so therefore we're allowed to sue.
Doesn't Commissioner already use this group?
Well, I don't know whether they've looked at it or not, but I know that we only have a very small window in order to file this, in order to get our case heard. Otherwise, we're going to end up, without really getting to the specifics. I think
No, I
you
know
realize
the
it's-
case.
Yeah.
It's just,
I'm just following.
no, I understand, but I just, I thought, well, they need to see this anyhow, and see the elements of the case, that we're answering the two masters to do. That's all it is.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to approve the following resolution as referenced in the May 9, 2005 board meeting? Be it resolved that the President of the Board of Education be authorized to enter into an easement agreement with the Village of Champlain granting such easement.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, we had passed this before, but this is the formality that we do need to do now. We need to have this resolution, we need to sign the paperwork, so we go to the Village of Champlain and they can proceed from there.
Where's the easement going to be?
It's the easement by the school, what we had passed back in,
Crossing your division?
Yes.
yes, May 9th of 2005, we had given that permission.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend adding the following people to the 06-07 substitute list as teacher aides, Dorothy Mossy and Shirley Ann Roberts?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend payment of invoice number 2 in the amount of $75,716.46 to Collins and Scoville for services from February 1st to February 28th, 2007? Discussion?
This is for what?
For their services.
Building project, renovations?
Wasn't?
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend payment of $2,850 to Stafford, Owens, Curtin, and Trombley for professional services related to the $2.4 million project?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend payment of $1,700 to James Smith and Son for delivery of 7,500 gallons of fuel oil and pump out 1,000-gallon tank?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend payment of $34,785 to Fuller Construction for labor and materials for the oil tank at the middle school?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend payment of $108.25 to WL Cougars for prints related to the Rouse's Point emergency project?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to recommend payment of $82.24 to WL Cougars for prints related to the Rouse's Point emergency project?
So moved.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We have some information items. First one, Tony Gillet has filled the position of certified school counselor for 2 days per week for the remainder of the year. Joanne Zucker was a special ed teacher, was appointed to PM school for the remainder of the year. Ashley Akey, special education teacher, was appointed to home instruction teacher for the remainder of the year. Wendy Engelbrecht will be out on medical leave from June 5 to June 22nd. Mrs. Ganya Horn approved a reduction in taxes on the property of Carol J. Markloff for light use for a refund of $590.95. Forms 22 and 25 in our board packets. And Bob, do you have an update on the district share decision?
Yes, we had our second meeting, and at that meeting, basically what we did is we had each building report out, and one of the things that we decided to you to get more input is to have a survey, and maybe Steve, you want to just expound on it?
Well, we actually, we're gonna, the buildings are putting together, some specific, I think basically surveying the seniors that graduated and they were in the line of, over the most helpful, where they think they made the gaps and et cetera. They're gonna do the same thing, which essentially is the same thing for 8th graders coming out of middle school. And I believe, for elementary, you're gonna try to those surveys to,
That's correct.
something along the same line, but they're gonna go out and things. And, continue to review. Also, some discussions, the principals did report out on the building, and there seems to be some minor things that there's some hope that could be, one of the things, I don't know, very about, but the painting there, and if that can be, the board could approve some painting, perhaps finding somebody who's painting. It's all, speculative. We did a discussion on do some Band-Aid kind of better looking into the corner, where we get the capital project that we're doing, some major things in this building.
We had some on-site testing, Bob, do you have an update on that?
Yeah, I do. Basically, BOCES select for the on-site drug testing for our drivers, et cetera. BOCES usually select someone and they offer them a contract for 2 years. And I know that each board member was individually solicited, but in receiving the information and everything, this company that individually solicited you apparently did not come forth when they had the original bids put in, or they were higher than what the one that BOCES selected. And since BOCES has selected one and they have been following them they have a contract for 2 years, I highly recommend that we stay with them, because that, to me, would be the ethical thing to do. So I just wanted to put it there, because I know that everybody received a letter from them, and I don't think that would be the right thing to do.
These are our bus routes. Do we use this program?
Yes, we do.
Oh, yes, we do. We've been through that before, and it's totally without any kind of warning, whatever, you know. They just show up
And they have certain individuals that they're going to evaluate that day, and we go through the testing and work out really well for us.
This is drug testing course.
And then send it back and take it. The child care survey, I have to say that I was really, really pleased with the turnout. We had 412 surveys that were returned to us. One dealing with option 1, which would be the early start that we had originally talked about. We had 83 surveys that selected that option. And then the option 2, which would be the dismissal earlier in the afternoon at 2:45, and we had 325 surveys that selected that option. And we had a couple that were in there that basically said no preference. So the percentage, when you're looking at option 1, was 20%, you're looking at option 2 was 79%. And when we did do this, we put the memorandum in such a way that it allowed us to put it on, to do it either in the morning or in the afternoon. So my recommendation to the board would be that we do pursue the afternoon versus the morning, since it seems that this would be the most proficient and the easiest means for people to provide afternoon care rather than morning care.
Is that a consensus of the board, agree with that? Afternoon.
So we're going to go from here.
Okay. Then what I would like to do is, I said that I wanted to set up a meeting with parents, and since it looks like it's an overwhelming majority for the afternoon, but I still want to have a meeting with parents who want to come and take a look at what can we do to provide child care service, whether it be in the morning or in the afternoon, with independents such as the Y. I had a meeting again the other day. Rob was there, and we talked about, what they could do for us. And I think that that's something that we do have to explore. Whether we go in the afternoon or the morning, I still think it's something that this district needs to look at. So even if we go for the afternoon, we could look at some type of a child care program, independent program such as the Y, or again, if the preschool comes into the area in Moores, that would be another avenue, as Rouse's Point has. I think we just need to look at all our options and say, okay, what's going to work for people, and try to come up with something that would be beneficial to all. Not that the school would be responsible for it, but we'd be more than happy to help facilitate it and do what we need to do. So I think that's where we stand right now. But I would like to have a consensus on the board to go, to go with the options since we started to sell out.
Does it mean now at 2 p.m. that there will be guaranteed 30 minutes of common spending time uninterrupted?
That's correct.
So there will not, how is that going to work though?
What it would mean is that the students would be dismissed at 2:45 if we stay with the current schedule, and then the teachers would be in common planning time from 2:45 to 3:15. This could also include having parent conferences, it could include grade level meetings, it would include planning time with the special needs providers, and this would all be worked out by the building principals.
Do you mean that this will be, the buses will leave at 2:45?
That is correct.
Will this eliminate double busing if we go to the PM one?
No, it's not double busing, it would still be separate, no, that's okay, separate busing. No, because I think that it would still be very beneficial to have it that way, the separate busing.
So now, if,
Because,
of course, from the AM to the PM, I mean, we don't have busing.
no, that is correct.
So we can, if we go to the PM,
Yeah, fine. That's time very relatively the same.
So we're sure, if we need or awareness of some daycare provider, we're sure it doesn't matter whether it's non-American, they would go either way.
Yeah, and basically what we would do is if there's enough need, for instance, if you only had 10 or 15 parents who still wanted it in the morning, and you deal with the Y program, they would come in for 15 students. It all depends on how many want, even though, because some people might, the Y program starts at 6:45. Okay, that's when you can drop students off. And it is also limited to the numbers you can have. It's, I believe, around 12, or no more than 15. If they're older, if they're younger, it's around 10 to 12. There are activities. If it's older, they can even do some homework. They do various activities with them. There's arts and crafts, and most of the time there's snacks. So this is something that we could actually get into both of our elementary schools that might be beneficial for a lot of our parents. Even if we don't change the time in the morning, there might be some parents that would really love to drop their kids off early if we have enough of that. That's why I want to open the discussion, and I want to see what the real needs are. And then and I also talked to Jamie Vasilier from the preschool, or North Country, she's willing to come in. I also talked to Pete from the Y and Kevin, and I believe it's Elizabeth, who's the program director. They're willing to come in and talk to parents and take a look at the whole situation. I just think it's something that, from what I've been looking at from Silver, I think it's something that's needed, and I'm more than happy to try to facilitate it.
will there be another meeting with the parents?
It would, probably what I would do is, once we make this determination tonight, I will probably, towards the end of May, just set up a general meeting. I have to say that I was very pleased when I had my open forum. I had some parents come, we sat down, we had a real good talk, and since then I've talked to several other parents. I think communication is the key, and I'm more than willing to make myself available to it.
One question on the, if this does happen, for parents that leave their kids here early in the morning. Under the, if we keep the same procedure we have now, this Y program would not cover the kids coming on the bus.
No.
So
It would be until the buses arrive. It would be until the buses arrive.
We also have some information on the SES contract.
Right. Since we are a City 2 school, one of the things that we have to look at is we have to provide supplemental educational services. And in order to do that, there are approximately 50 to 100 approved providers, and they're on the web. And Mr. Brandell and I had a teleconference with Robert Reyes from State Ed, Roberto Reyes from State Ed, who's in charge of this. And basically, we were instructed to send out to all of these providers information and try to get them to submit something to us. And we do have letters that show that we actually did that process, and we only got responses from a few. And basically, what we have to try to do is find someone who we can contract with to provide the supplemental educational services. And because of our title funds, we have to spend up to 20% for these services. However, it will only apply to those students who have been identified in the economically disadvantaged category. Because as you know, when they look at our assessments, they break it down into they disaggregate it into various categories. You have your special needs, you have the economically disadvantaged, you have your, all your students, etc. Well, this is the category that they're looking at. And letters were sent home to all the parents who fell within that category. And we do have, I believe, 3 or 4 parents that are interested. So this is the only company who we have contacted that is willing to meet our needs as far as a contract goes. And it's called the Club Z Tutoring. And in addition to the contract itself, there is a supplemental education services academic plan that we have requested that they will provide. And we will be beginning on May 7th, and we end at the end of this school year. It's very late, but because of the lateness in giving us the information and the time it took to do all the soliciting of the different providers, we won't be able to begin until May, and then we would finish June 22nd. Should we be required to provide this again next year, now we already have a provider who would be able to begin right away. And the maximum that we can spend on any one child is $1,271.21. That's already stipulated by the state. So this is just to inform you that this is a contract that we have engaged in because we're required to do so.
when is this done after school?
Yes. It can be done after school, it can be done in the home. Basically, what we were looking for was not to have internet providers. And a lot of the approved state programs were internet providers, and where you actually don't even get to meet or see the person who's providing the service. That is something we did not agree with. So we wanted to make sure that we had someone, and Mr. Randall has had conversations with their representatives, and we feel comfortable with it.
Just quickly, are they certified teachers?
They, I don't know if they're going to be certified teachers, or we would have to find out who they are
They don't
first.
have to be.
They don't have to be. They can be, it's a tutor system. It could be a college student.
There's very strict state guidelines on what they have to meet to be part of the state pool of SES providers. And that's all online. They do not have to be certified teachers. I think they have to be under the supervision
Of a certified teacher.
of more information.
All through the state?
They've applied to the state and we've been approved.
By the way, there are thousands of these providers. If you go online, you can look at almost any state, and they're all listed right on there. And basically, what they do is they apply to the state approves them, they get to be put on the list, and any school district that needs to get the services or who is identified that has to look for supplemental educational services needs to contact all of them and try to set up a contract.
Who evaluates?
Pardon?
Who evaluates it?
Well, what they have here and what we wanted, but they have to state the goals, so they would develop the goals with the parents, in consultation with the parents and a district representative. They would identify the assessment tools that they're going to use, and then they implement the following timetable. They have to provide individual education plans, and they have to keep us informed. We can say, I think we said, what, on a monthly or weekly basis? Probably weekly basis.
I don't have it on me.
Yeah, I think it's a weekly. I think we want it on a weekly basis. And then
So this is $1,371.
$60 an hour. But that's the max you can spend on one student.
So a person could make more money doing that than being, going for home teaching?
Yeah, like 6 times.
One other question,
Ouch.
you think you have any teachers interested in doing this?
Well, I think if they found out the price, how much we pay for home teaching right now? $10. $6 per hour, you might get 15.
I'm sure there's an administrative cost in the $60.
Yeah, but they're not paying $10.
That's what subsidy is getting.
All right.
Anybody have a problem with this? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
For number 10, can you just read this number 10 just for a second? Did we get to take a consensus on whether we're going AM or PM, or where are we going to go
We
with
just
this?
got to the PM. Everybody agree with the results, yes?
PM.
Yeah, yeah, because it was 79%.
Yep, yes.
Yes.
That's that, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, people call up and say,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Based on the survey, 80%, unless somebody has an issue with it. There's also the need for another vote for the Champlain Valley Educational Services Board candidates to break a tie. The first vote was held on April 26th, and there were 6 people running and for 5 positions, and the last 2 positions each tied with 10 votes. So that's to be another election between those 2 candidates, Lori Saunders from Saranac and Lisa Boyce from Plattsburgh, and that meeting date's been set by BOCES to be on May 15th. We also have a meeting scheduled for that night, but their budget vote, there'll be a meeting at 8:15 that night, so we'll put it on the agenda for that meeting. Okay, a couple of discussion items. First is the board verification on swimming requirements. Do you have an update on this?
Yes, I do. I have to commend our administration and also our physical education department. What they're looking at is we're looking at trying to implement as much as we can, because we have our wellness committee now, and part of that has to do with looking at exercise, looking at physical education. In addition to that, there are new regs that are coming out on the physical education front. So what we want to do is we want to look at the physical education program. And I guess all we're asking here, in the form of a consensus, if possible, for the board to clarify for us so that we can move ahead with our planning, is what the intent of the board as far as swimming goes. Does the board want every student to take swimming every year? Or does the board want students to achieve a certain proficiency level in swimming? So if you feel comfortable in doing that tonight, I would appreciate it. If not, then I guess we can wait till our next meeting, we can have time to think about it. But it will impact what we will do as far as the planning goes for the physical education. So that's all we're really asking, is what the board would like to see. And if the board says we want to see students take swimming every year, then that's going to impact how we approach this. And if it's the other way, it will also impact. So rather than spend many hours in preparing something, we just thought we would go to this stage and find out what the board would like to have.
So at this point,
Any
now,
comments? Right now, they take it every year.
They take it every
is
year.
it mandatory?
Every year. Yeah, they have 10 weeks every year.
And what do you think? What's the other?
The other option is, do they just have to reach a certain
Proficiency level. We don't really, the new levels won't come in,
Yes, once they reach that proficiency level,
Then
they
they
don't have to take swimming if
or they could only take it if they really
they
want.
want to, if they want mandatory.
So, so there is not just introducing swimming and you take it 20 weeks and that's it.
No, no,
You
no.
still got to
No,
pass
it's,
the test.
oh, yeah.
There are 7 levels right now, and I believe when we talked about it, Jody, level 5. 6, I'm sorry. So we're looking at either level 4 or level 5.
So if you swim like a cement block, you never get out.
But then you still take it every year while you're in school, which they do right now
Well,
anyway.
the physical education disc is supposed to come out in June, and we'll have a better idea at that time what their proficient level is.
I would think the goal should be efficiency. And then if it opens up
If they want to take it.
flexibility in your scheduling, then that would be fine. I don't see an absolute need for them to take it every year as long as they're proficient.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much, that'll help us. The transportation,
We had a request from my parent for transportation to Seton for their children next year. We referred this to our lawyer. The lawyer came back to us with a letter, and we had some more questions on the letter, so this issue's still in the hands of our lawyer, still researching this out. And we'll hopefully have an answer by the next board meeting. There was also this senior class black and white wall, and the letter in our packet there. They seem to be fait accompli based on the letter that we received that it's taking place already, and I see it on here as a discussion item, so I was a little confused with that.
well, it's not fait accompli, but they actually had to make some reservations because the time was limited. They came to us a while back and told us that they really wanted to do something of this nature, and I think the board told them it was okay, but that they needed to come back with a refined plan. And I think this is a refined plan. This is a plan that I feel is acceptable. Originally, they were looking at much more than this. They were looking at the possibility of overnight, et cetera. And this, they spent a great deal of time with Mr. Bory, the advisor. I think they have really put it down concretely. They've always had some type of a dance. I can remember when they had it at the Civic Center one year. They've always done something. They have money in their budget. And recall they did receive a good chunk of money back from when we got our claim back from insurance. So this is what they're requesting.
Anybody have any objections?
You're comfortable?
I'm comfortable with this.
Linda, you okay? Okay. We had a couple of requests for different school districts, and one from a school district in Long Island, and one from Nisbet, that they're putting some resolutions forward. They'd like some concurrence from other school boards to pass similar resolutions and forward to the school boards for their attention at their October meeting. The request from the Bayport Blue Union Free School District was to seek legislation to repeal the civil service law known as the Triborough Agreement to the Taylor Law with respect to the obligation of school districts to pay increment on salary schedules of members of employee organizations which are party to labor contracts after expiration of the set agreements. I don't know how people feel about that, but did you receive it? Do they want to pass a resolution by our board to support that? Or do you want to just not support that?
I'm not okay.
They may be having problems down there. I think I talked there one time about their pros and cons of this also. I'm not in favor of really agreeing with it.
I think all it does is accelerate the negotiation process.
It might accelerate the negotiation
I think that's what the
process,
issue is.
and may not, and may also make very, very hard feelings, which we don't have in this district.
That's right, there's a possibility of that. Okay, majority of the alone, so we'll leave it alone.
I'm saying no.
We've also had a resolution from New York State School Boards for a statewide task force to create a statewide that will explore and formulate ways for school districts to contain costs. And I think this is probably a resolution that we should support, that, and to put that as one of their action items for the New York State School Boards to go along with that. I don't know how people feel about that.
I can agree on that.
Okay, and is there anybody else have any, we can pass that resolution and then I think forward to. So is there a motion to resolve the New York State School Board to create a statewide task force that will explore and formulate ways for school districts to contain costs?
So,
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. And then I'll sign that. That motion. We also have 5 policies that were in our board packet for discussion tonight. They were presented at the last month's meeting, and if does anybody have any questions or comments on any of the 5 policies? The 5th one is not listed on the agenda, is prayer in schools. I looked them over and I didn't see any issues with any of them. They seem to be okay.
I just have some minor ones, because I kept looking over them also. We have no problem with it. Under the authorized signatures, there's one there, and basically what it says is that with the signing machines, with the safeguards, of the school district's protection, signatures of the treasurer and deputy treasurer, I would like to say and or the deputy treasurer, because that's the process we've been using now. If no one has a problem with that.
Okay, I can find that in here, because it said above the treasurer or the deputy.
Right here in this paragraph.
You can give you the signature for the deputy treasurer.
Right.
Treasurer's not.
Yeah. But they each have their own plate, otherwise you
Yeah.
have to run both ways. So that's not a problem.
Number 8,
Yes.
could you explain that for me? I just want to get some clarification on that.
Which one you talking about?
Number 8,
Communication.
request for emergency
Okay.
organization.
All right. It's a difficult one, because we've already had situations, if someone has, right, if their religion says that they basically do not, or do not, can't have immunizations or whatever, and they are an actual religion, then they have a right to request that their child not be immunized. And there are forms, I think, that they have to fill out for every. So it's a difficult one. It doesn't come up very often, but it has in the past couple of years, that someone may claim that they just don't want their child to be inoculated, but you can't honor that. There must be some type of a valid reason, and one for religious exemption is considered.
I think this lays out a process, we don't have a process for that now, but we will get a request, that's what this is doing. Policy lays out a process, which first to this, they have to have this letter, and then the principal has to respond in writing, yes or no, after it's decided upon.
So when we went through this process, they didn't come to school, they could not come to school, right?
Usually, you have to be immunized, and unless you have a reason to be exempt from that immunization, you don't have very many Amish around here, but if you did, you would find that this would become a very, very important policy.
But until that process is gone,
Right.
they could not exist.
Right. That answer your question, Megan? It's just lays out a process, that's all this does.
It's a process, but I'm saying, could it leave others at risk? I mean, that would be.
They don't come to school, and you have no choice, so they're entitled to do that by their religious freedom in the Constitution.
Oh,
As long as they do that, yes, it could be what it is.
So would there be a recourse? I'm sure there probably would be a recourse to the other people who could possibly be exposed to something.
Yeah, but don't, when you think about it, they already got the shot, not that, they're only really taking the chance of
The one who doesn't have a shot.
It's the one that's got-
The other ones
They're
have
not
a
putting
shot.
students with a shot at risk.
Yeah, okay.
Because they have to
Still
shot.
be getting shots, doesn't mean that you might not be exposed to it.
Yeah, and I do understand, because coming from Western New York, we did have a problem with that, where hepatitis was the case, and it did affect, and the whole school had to be immunized.
We have one last item, home instruction rate.
Can I just go back to promotion and retention of students? In reviewing this and reviewing with the building administrators, there's just been one request under the middle school where it says all subjects, we need to put in all core subjects. Because those are the ones that we really look at for retention. And the same thing on the second page, students who fail 2 core subjects. And I believe your core are math, science, ELA, and social. So if we could do that, then I think everything else is fine.
Don't so many words that don't pass so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I say it's fine, look down middle school is, I'm sorry, it says the student may be required to repeat the subject. And then it says, but in typical cases, that whole sentence probably is requested to be struck out. But in typical cases, shall be promoted with a recommendation for summer school or assignment to a lower academic group. We're just gonna strike that out, because you don't have summer school right now.
So we're not gonna do that?
Right? We're gonna put it
They won't
down.
be promoted then?
It just says a student may be required to repeat the subject. It'll all be based upon what the committee comes up with.
Oh, you're leaving that part in?
Yeah,
I thought you were taking the whole thing.
No,
out.
just
Okay.
taking what the typical cases of the group, okay? Then, on the last one, I did do a check this morning, just to try to get an idea, because I knew we want to know what other districts are. Right now, Northern Adirondack is getting $25 per hour for home instruction. Peru is getting $25 per hour. Shazy is getting $35 per hour. Beacontown is getting $30 per hour, and we get approximately $15 per hour. That's with our half-hour prep in there. So, it's very difficult to get homeschool instruction. We have 2 students that will need to be homeschool instruction. I'm asking that you consider changing the rate to probably $25 an hour, because right now with gas,
And that includes no prep time.
right,
Just a straight $25.
$25.
They do their own prep on their own prep.
Right.
Before I became a board member 8 years ago, I did some, and back then it was not sufficient amount of money for people to, how do I say this nicely? To go, for some of the situations for home tutoring, you could pay me $1 million and I would have gone back the second day. But I think that some of the times, what they have to put up with, whether it be finding a place, finding books to work with, putting up with the child itself, good, bad, or indifferent, I think our people are worth more than $15.
Anybody have an objection to raising it to 25?
Will that take effect?
And then we'll pass a resolution. Take effect immediately. Okay, is there a motion to raise the home instruction rate to $25 an hour?
So moved.
Second, further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to go into executive session to discuss a matter regarding proposed pending and current litigation, a matter pertaining to the employment history of a particular person, and a matter related to a specific student in the district?
One question. I don't want to be mixed, so should we make sure it's on the agenda about the cell phones? And we're going to discuss that.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved for that.
Second.
All those in favor?
Where are we going?
Take any action after executive session? You're welcome to take if you wish. If not, thank you for coming. We appreciate your interest. And have a good evening.
What are you doing? I can't. So we have a special guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special treat for all of you folks. All the way from California, Doopy, Lambert and Company. All the contestants that performed tonight could go to the back of the gymnasium over here where they started. A reminder that the acts tonight are going to be judged and based on the applause of the contestants. So, harder you clap, that person's going to win. I know it's going to be tough to recall everything. The judges are going to put their input on it as well. But I've just been told that the judging is going to be based on applause. Say thank you, Ryan. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Doopy, Lambert and Company.
I don't know.
You have to sing first. You have to sing for your supper. Who wants to hold the mic?
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Root, root, root for the Yankees. If they don't win, it's a shame. For 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
It's open. Hey, you're not who I expected. Hey, Costello, chair right here. We're on TV. Hi, Calvin. Hi, Mom. Hi, Peanut. I always wanted to do that on TV. Oh, wait. Oh, we gotta start. Over. It's open. Well, something for judges, just in case you don't be here for a while. Remember us. Go for us, yeah. Hey, Costello, hold chair. Go on. Well, I'm going to New York with you. You know, Joe Corey, the Yankee manager, gave me a job as coach for as long as you are on the team. That should be for a long time. Look, Abbott, if you're the coach, you must know the players. I certainly do. Well, you know, I've never met the guys, so you'll have to tell me their names, and then I'll know who's playing on the team. Oh, I'll tell you their names, but you know, seems to me they give these ball players nowadays some very peculiar names. You mean funny names? Oh, strange names. Pet names, like Dizzy Dean, his brother Daffy, Daffy Dean, and their French cousin. French? Buffet? Buffet Dean! Yes. Well, let's see. We have on the badge. Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know is on third. That's what I want to find out. I say, who's on first? What's on second? I don't know is on third. Are you the manager? Yes. You're going to be the coach too? Yes, I am. And you don't know the fella's names? Well, I should. Well, then, who's on first? Yes. I mean the fella's name? Who? The guy on first? Who? The first baseman? Who? The guy playing? Who is on first? I'm asking you who's on. That's the man's name. That's whose name? Yes. Well, go ahead, tell me. That's it. That's who? Yes. Well, you got a first baseman or not? Certainly do. Who's playing first? That's right. When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money? Every dollar of it. All I'm trying to find out is the fella's name on first base. Who? The guy that gets, that's it. Who gets the money? He does. Every dollar. Although sometimes his wife comes down and collects it. Who's wife? Yes. What's wrong with that? Look, all I want to know is when you sign up the first baseman, how does he sign his name? Who? The guy. Who? How does he sign? That's how he signs it. Who? Yes. All I'm trying to find out is what the guy's name on first base. No. What's on second base? I'm not asking you who's on second. Who's on first? One base at a time. Well, don't keep changing the players around. I'm not changing nobody. Easy. I'm only asking you, who's the guy on first base? That's right. Okay. All right. What's the guy's name on first base? No. What's on second? Oh, I'm not asking you who's on second. No. Who's on first? I don't know. He's on third. We're not talking about him. Now, how did I get on third base? You mentioned his name. If I mentioned the third baseman's name, who did I say was playing third? No. Who's playing first? What's on first? What's on second? I don't know. He's on third. There I go. Back on third again. Would you just stay on third base and don't go off it? All right. What do you want to know? Now, who's playing third base? Why do you keep insisting on putting who on third base? What am I putting on third? No. What's on second? You don't want who on second? Who's on first? I don't know. Third base. Look, got outfield? Sure do. The left fielder's name? Why? I thought I'd ask. Well, I thought I'd tell you. Then, left field. Who's playing first? Oh, I'm not. Stay out of the infield. I want to know who's the guy named on left field. What's on second? I'm not asking you who's on second. Who's on first? I don't know. Third base. The left fielder's name? Why? Because, he's second. Look, you got a pitcher on this team? Sure do. The pitcher's name? Tomorrow. You don't want to tell me today? I'll tell you now. Okay, go ahead. Tomorrow. What time? What time what? What time tomorrow are you going to tell me who's pitching? Now listen. Who is not pitching? Oh, I'll break your arm. You say who's on first. I want to know what's the pitcher's name. What's on second? I don't know. Third base. Got a catcher? Certainly do. The catcher's name?